What is up? Welcome to this week's episode of Lambgoat's Vanflip podcast. I am your host, LURK. I am joined today with Davidson of the technical death metal Massachusetts band REVOCATION. Welcome to the podcast, Dave.
Thanks for having me, LURK.
Thank you for using my nickname. We just had a little pre-prod show conversation, and then we had to run it back, and now we're attempt number 2. But that's a normal thing around here in the LG studios. You're in the Metal Blade offices, it says, so I would assume everything runs far better there than here.
I mean, the laptop is hooked up and hasn't given me any issues so far. So, and this is the last interview of the day for me. So far, so good.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, Dave. Been wanting to get some of these bigger namestays in metal on the podcast recently. I dabbled in a little hardcore for about a year, trying to show some more hardcore, on Lambgoat and whatnot. And then, we're reverted back to some more metal bands, more of like the core audience for Lambgoat. And, just had like the guys from Halloween on, which technically aren't necessarily, a band that Lambgoat would, be frothing at the mouth for. But it was a very interesting interview. Also, one of the most watched and listened to in the last couple of months. So that'll show you.
I'll do my best to be as entertaining. Did you have the entire all of the members of Halloween, or
no, just Michael?
Okay.
But to make you feel better, I didn't know which Michael until already in the podcast. So there's 2 Michaels in Halloween, and I had the other one in my head, not the other one.
Gotcha.
The other one was in front of me. So
you did your research on that one.
Yeah, well, I didn't really think that there'd be multiple Michaels in the band, really.
2 Michaels in Halloween.
Well, and not only that, I think they're both like vocalists or something wild,
really?
They're both they one's a guitar player, one's a vocalist or something like that, or they both. There's like 2 vocalists, 3 vocalists at this point in the band. So, but hey,
Halloween's like a fucking barbershop quartet. It sounds like.
Yeah, they come and go. A lot of them are coming and going. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I guess embarrassingly, I don't know enough about Halloween. So
hey. Apparently,
I apologize to the Halloween fans out there, but you did a podcast with them, so you probably know. I'm going to flip this whole thing on its head right now. Tell me something about Halloween. What was the most fun fact about Halloween that you learned, LURK?
Oh man, I didn't know anything about Halloween, and I still kind of don't know anything about Halloween even after the podcast. But the Michael was the vocalist. Michael was very funny and very entertaining. I think some of the things that was probably most appealing or that I learned from him was the fact that he's like super into classical music, super into like vocal music, and like, he's a vocalist and a singer. So he is more in that realm. And then obviously like, I like to find out how bands write music. So, that's a band that doesn't ever jam together or anything like that. They all write solo and kind of like pass it along throughout the grapevine. But yeah. Anyway, REVOCATION, right?
That's me. Yep.
Yeah. So, speaking of new music and writing new music and whatnot, you guys have a record coming out in the next couple weeks, months here. New Gods, New Masters. That's going to follow up Nether Heaven. Did I get that right? Okay, that came out.
Everyone always says Haven, but yeah, no, it's Nether Heaven. Yep.
Hey, there's a Death Heaven, Death Haven, Gray Heaven, Gray Heaven. There's a couple bands that have like Death. Now I'm going to get it all mixed up in my head. Death Haven, and then Gray
Death Heaven.
No, I don't know, but Gray Heaven, Death Heaven. I don't know. I get a lot of those bands, Heaven and Haven, mixed up. So
yeah,
it's my dyslexia that I want to tell the world that I have, but probably don't. You know what I mean?
It's fine. It's all good.
So what are some of the I want to know, because you guys have a couple albums under your belt at this particular point. I want to know what was the weirdest and most memorable thing that maybe happened in the writing or recording of this album. And if I'm not mistaken, I think through some of this, you had like a broken wrist or whatnot, right? Through the writing process?
Yeah. I mean, that's probably honestly the number one thing that at least is kind of different, because people will ask me like every single like album cycle, like, oh, what'd you do differently? And it's like pretty much nothing, like I always just write riffs and like, it's always the same process for me, but yeah, like since I broke my wrist, just I guess maybe a quick backstory on that. We were out on tour with Morbid Angel, and yeah, make sure that you do good cable management on stage because I just took a step back, like total freak accident, like tripped over a cable, and the natural instinct is to throw your hand
Yeah.
like behind your back as you're falling backwards, and I definitely like landed like right on my wrist and broke it. There's like video of it online. But yeah, I finished the set with the broken wrist, which like sucked because like I don't know, like it hurt, but like the adrenaline was going so much that I'm like maybe it's a sprain or whatever. Like I'll make it through. Almost like I didn't want to believe it was that fucked up. So I'm like I'm just gonna keep going. And then I'm like wrapping cables afterwards, like ow, and I'm like I think this is broken. And yeah, and lo and behold, I went to a doctor's office the next day, and they were like, did the X-ray, and the guy came back and he's like, yeah, you fractured your wrist. And I was like, oh, good, it's not broken, it's just fractured. And he's like, no, you idiot, a fracture is a break. Like it's just like the medical term. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's broken. He's like, yes, you can't play guitar for like 6 weeks. And they put me in a sling, and they didn't give me any instructions at all. So I was just walking with like my arm like down, which like you're like not supposed to do because I guess when you break a bone, all the blood like rushes to that area to like
heal it.
Yeah, and like so my hand like ballooned out like super crazy, and like I went to another doctor in New York because I'm like my hand's like numb, and like he took the cast off and it was like just like swollen meat fist, and he was like, were you not keeping this elevated? I'm like, they never like told me like what to do, and he's like, you would have had like nerve damage in your hand like with if you like let this go for like any longer. So my hand's fine now, but like he basically put me in a sling and showed me the proper method of not fucking your hand up permanently. And I finished the tour just on vocals, so that was weird. Like not playing guitar in a band that definitely I'm very much associated as being like the guitarist in. As
also,
well as
not being able to do the power stance with the guitar on stage makes it lame.
That's why people come to see it. They want to see the stance. They want to see like I used to do karate as a kid, so I got like a pretty good like horse stance going on.
There you go.
Feel like so that's good core thigh robustness. I guess is the technical term. But
is there ever like a whooping crane kick on stage at some point, or like whatever the ninja kick is from the Karate Kid?
I never did any of those because I think my pants are too tight. So, but and I didn't want to risk any further injury after with the broken wrist, certainly.
Well, you have to give the people a show, so you had to have tried to do something.
And the music isn't doing it. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
You got to perform out here, Dave. You got to.
I know. I should have been a Karate Kid more, but now I'm a karate. I don't do karate anymore. I haven't done that in a long time, but I really enjoyed it. Anyway, that my previous martial arts abilities aside, once I like got home from tours, I think we had like 2 more weeks left. In a weird way, I think it was like kind of honestly helpful for me because I think I would have just been sitting at home like moping around and being bummed out, and like the energy of the crowd every night, and feeling like good, and like I don't know, the fact that I could still go out and perform in some way, I think just mentally didn't take me into like a super dark place because I was definitely like start worrying like what if I fucked my wrist up, and what if I can't play the same when you get out of the cast, but it didn't really let me go there, which was nice. And when I got home, I wanted to just kind of keep my foot on the gas, but I wasn't able to play guitar, and normally like that's the number one thing that I'm doing when I'm not doing anything else. So it's not only like my passion, but it's like my hobby and it's my livelihood because I teach guitar lessons. So I wanted to try to still be productive. So, and I had a bunch of riffs already recorded. So I would just sit there like at my computer and like listen to stuff over and over again and like try to like solve this like Rubik's Cube like in my mind without like having the guitar with me. So it was a little bit of a different way of composing. And it was just kind of all up here for a lot of the stuff. So I was able to kind of put a lot of the pieces together of the new record, just all like doing like mental composition work. And then the time came to take the cast off, and I was just so shocked and pleased to hear that like I had like crazy good mobility coming out of it. I honestly think probably playing guitar for like 20 years just like maybe kept the tendons healthy or good blood flow in my wrist in general. Because like the lady was like shocked. I've never broken a bone before, so I didn't know like what to expect out of rehab. But like she literally had like a checklist of like, okay, do this and do that, and she was like, oh, that's weird. Like you shouldn't be able to do this. And like by the end of the checklist, she like literally gave me a hammer, and she's like, take this hammer and just like swing it around. And I'm like, okay, And she's like, yeah, like you're good. I went home, played guitar that day. So she was like, yeah, like she gave me some stretches and shit, like these and like just general things like stretching, like putting your hind against the wall and like turning your neck and things. But yeah, she told me like pretty much like other than some light stretching, like playing guitar would probably be like my rehab. So anyway, if anyone's listening and they injured themselves, the power of the human body to heal itself is a miraculous thing. Just try to take as good care of yourself as you can in the healing process, and take some collagen supplements and that kind of shit. And hopefully you'll be fine. Because it's gonna be scary, especially when you fucking work with your hands, like
right. Well, yeah. And being on the earth almost 3.5 decades at that particular point without breaking a bone and then breaking a bone is also scary in itself. But I mean, I guess just having like, just be a shredder with dexterity in your wrist. That's probably like insane. And then, fracturing's not really a break, let's just be honest. A fracture is like a break, but not like I feel like if you break something, they would tell you've broken a bone, like you snapped your damn bone in half.
No, I broke it.
Okay. Because when they say fracture, they make it seem like just a little crack in it.
So there's what's called I'm a bone expert now, by the way, Lurk. After all this stuff, so there's called non-displaced and displaced when you have fractures or you break a bone, right? So when it's displaced, that's like the fucking bone is like shifted over, or you hear like the horror stories of like it's like sticking out of the skin and shit like that. Like you had like a particularly badly displaced fracture in that case. Mine was what was called non-displaced, meaning the bone was broken, but it didn't like move out of the way.
Gotcha.
So like that's the case where generally if you just don't do anything stupid, like the bone will just heal back together and like be fine, and you won't need like pins or surgery or any shit like that. But of course, like when you break a bone and like people see you out with a cast, like other people that have broken the same bone start giving you like unsolicited like horror stories. They're like, that happened to me when I was a kid. Never the same again. Still got numbness, tingling all over my hands. And you're just like, oh God, why are you telling me this now? But luckily I was one of the lucky ones where it stayed in place. Sometimes I wonder if like it was worse than what it was, and playing guitar like right after, if it like
helped
like reset it somehow or whatever. It's like when you like break your nose and it's all fucked up, but you need to like break it again to put it back into place. So
who knows? I mean, the power of death metal, correct. Like how far into the set were you, and how long did you have to play for? Because I mean, again, like you said, the adrenaline's going, and I know in your head at that moment you're like, I mean, I could just imagine how I would think. I'd be like, oh no, it's definitely not broken. It's just like I hurt it real bad, and it'll be okay. So I know you're just like powering through, but hey, maybe moving the wrist a little bit in that form, kind of like maneuvered it back.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, it was particularly embarrassing because it was like I would call for like a circle pit, and I was like, "Come on, motherfucker, let's go!" And then like it wasn't even like the band was playing, and I fell, and like I kind of recover. It was like this, like let's fucking do this, and then I fell and like broke my wrist, and I just get up, and I'm like all disheveled, like that fucking hurt. But we only had one song left. I literally like in the mic, I'm like, ow, damn it.
Just like doing the Family Guy.
People thought it was like part of the show, because people don't know. It's like, oh, fell down. Like our drummer did like a little kind of thing, like when I fell over, because he didn't know how bad I had hurt myself either. Like no one did, but our bass player at the time, Brett, he grew up like street skating and stuff like that. So like he came up to me and was like, "Can you move your wrist?" And I'm like, "Yeah," like trying my best, and he's normally like very like. As far as like let's power through and like whatever, like if you're sick, like, let's do this thing. But he was like, I want to see a doctor like tomorrow about that, and because he's broken bones and shit like that. So it was like kind of like he could kind of diagnose it pretty quick. But it was the last song in the set, so I didn't have like a ton more to go. But it was also like the fastest like trem picking in the entire set was that one. Like that one, the song was of Unworldly Origin, and it's just fucking unrelenting like the whole time. So yeah, I could have ended with an easier one for sure, but
yeah. But hey,
just set it back to where it needed to be.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. Not to sidetrack us here too much from what I've got planned here, but I'm just now looking over at your Metal Archives Encyclopedia Metallum photo, and I swear to God, I thought someone had put like a Jamie Josta photo as you up there, because it's definitely you, but like at a glance, it's like, oh, a taller Jamie Josta, it looks like. Has anyone said that? You might want to look it up.
I'll take your word for it, but should I look it up right now?
I'll link it to you. I'll link it to you in the chat here real quick, and while you're talking, and then you can
check it out.
Give me your.
I'll give you my hot take here. All right, Metal Archives, Dave Davidson. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that looks like me.
A younger Josta, but younger David as well.
I'll say this. This is kind of maybe a fun fact about me, since we're going down this rabbit hole here. I have what I think might maybe the world's most generic face of all time, because I'm constantly misrecognized for like other people. It's not like famous people or anything like that, but like I'll be somewhere and someone will be like, "Oh my God, you look just like my friend," and it's happened to me like throughout my whole life. Yeah. Like as a younger kid and even as older, so it's not like I aged out of it. Like it's just I always look like someone's friend, and I can never really like see it. Like sometimes like they'll pull up photos and they're like, oh, I'm like, the guy with a beard, like I guess okay, but like anyway, it's happened to me so many times that I've been mistaken for someone who's also named Dave, which was so weird.
Yeah, they're just calling out Dave.
Yeah, I'm at like this like Jewish deli getting like a corned beef sandwich, and the waiter's like, Dave? I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, and like I felt like an asshole because I'm like, I go to like school with this guy.
You're running it in your head. You're like, where do I know you from?
Like, oh, you're like my friend named Dave, and I'm like, that's weird because my name is also Dave. And Barry's Deli out in Woburn, Massachusetts. Great potato salad.
Ooh, that's not a top get for me on salads, but I think the cold potatoes and mayo is like a big turnoff for me.
They don't go like heavy with the mayo though. It's a real they have a real deft hand with the mayonnaise application there. Maybe I agree. Mayonnaise I think is a disgusting condiment.
I've grown to like it more as we age, but
Oh, okay. So pick one. I don't know.
It's the cold potato. The cold potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just.
Oh, okay. So you want hot mayo?
No, that's why I just stay away from it altogether. I don't want hot mayo. But I mean, I guess you get hot mayo on some burgers. You like
mayo. What's the application of mayo that you like?
I don't mind mayo.
Okay, so it's the potatoes here that you.
It's the cold potatoes, then drenched in like any kind of salad. I guess that it just has like a mayo base. It's not for me.
German potato salad. That's got mustard base.
Oh, I would do that. Can you heat it up?
I guess you could.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that then. Coleslaw is also off the list. I'm not a good slaw guy, but to each his own.
What about like a vinegar-based slaw?
Love it.
Cold?
Love it. Yeah. I can cold that one out. That's a cold salad. That's all like
But it sounds like you don't like mayo, but I'm confused. But
I'm not gonna jump in the mayo tub and like drench myself in it, but I'll put it on things that acquire mayo sometimes.
What's an acceptable amount of mayo for you? Like if you had a sandwich, would you go both sides of the bread?
No.
Just one side?
Yeah, but I'm also going to put like other liquid condiments on there. So
okay, but like, just say when. Like, here's the mayo bottle.
Squirt. That's it.
Well, no, that was the whole time. I'm going to do a countdown.
Just like a little squirt. And I'll spread it around.
Oh, just that. That's it.
Yeah, probably less than a teaspoon. I'm not big into it.
Okay. I can kind of wrap my head around that now.
I'm more of a vinegar based kind of man. You know, I like some mustard. I like some ketchup's. Ketchup's up there. I know
How do
ketchup.
you feel about like an herb like aioli, like a dill aioli, or maybe
Aiolis are
rosemary?
good. Aiolis are good. It has to be a proper one. But that's something that I've kind of. Is aioli more mayonnaise based? Is that like a mayonnaise sauce?
It's all mayo.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I've been doing a lot more aiolis. Dill's one of them. You know, I like dill. This is a good podcast. We're doing great so far, Dave.
Thank you. I try to, I'm trying to get to the hard questions here about aioli versus mayo. And
No one cares about death metal or new albums. I mean, again, you've already talked about it all day long anyway. So now this is like the good stuff.
This is fun for me. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll keep it fun. With your hand swelling, I had the similar thing happen to me when I broke my pinky ring. I had a boxer's fracture.
What'd you do? Punched up?
Yeah, dog. We were at the bar and you're in the bathroom just making jokes and you're like, I could punch through this wall, and you can't. And you find that out. So yeah. It was like one of those like thick, it wasn't like drywall. It was like it was a divider between the bathroom stalls, and I was like, okay,
right.
Yeah, I did not.
Just tell a drunk bozo move.
Yeah, I did not do any damage to it. And then I had already broken, like I had a hockey fracture, like from hitting a wall in a certain way when I was younger and playing hockey. And so I like rebroke it. And then it was like 3:00 in the morning when we went to the hospital, and we were already tossed on to the barbecue at that point. And I wake up the next morning and my shit is just in a splint at this point, swollen to hell. And I didn't go to the doctor again for another 3 days, but it was all bruised. Like the whole thing was so fucking swollen. It's comical.
Oh my God. Well, it healed up fine though, right?
I guess I took the cast off like way early because I was like,
really? Okay.
Yeah. And then, because they took I had to get pins in it and all that stuff again. They took the pins out. And once the pins were out, they had the splint on. I was like, I'm not doing this for that much longer. And I took it off. So I'll have arthritis in like 10 years, but
until then,
rock it.
Punch that sound too.
I'm just going to use it. I'm going to use this right dominant hand as much as I can for any kind of activity. But either way, I need to know about Berkeley. I thought that was a very interesting thing, and I know you probably talked about it in nauseum throughout your career, but not with me. And I just learned not that long ago that you had graduated from there with like a jazz studies or some kind of other. Yeah. So I'd like to know, how do you get in? Not how do you get into Berkeley in general, but what path does your life take you to get to Berkeley? And then at what point do you also think like, I'm going to start a band? And how is this Berkeley knowledge going to intertwine with like brutal technical death metal?
So it kind of started, around like high school for me, like middle school. I started at Boston Arts Academy, which was it was awesome. It was like an arts high school. It was like right by Fenway Park in Boston, and they had like a visual arts program. They had a dance department, vocal department, and they had a music department. So I auditioned to get in there, and I was really stoked because I was basically presented with having to repeat the 8th grade at my previous school. I went to Boston Latin School to start with, which is like the oldest school in the country. It's like an exam school. They teach you fucking like Latin and shit, and it was like one of those things like my parents and like grandparents really wanted me to go there, and like by that point I was like just all in on guitar.
Yeah.
And I think I got like straight F's like in 8th grade. So I was either gonna have to like repeat 8th grade, or like this arts high school would like take me on to 9th grade because they were like a new school, and like I could play guitar, and like they I did a good audition for them or whatever. So
what was your audition? Do you remember the audition? Like, do you remember what you played or what you showcased?
I don't remember. Like, it wasn't anything like involving like jazz or anything like that because I wasn't exposed to it at that point. But I think they could tell that there was some, some passion and certainly kind of raw material that they could work with there. So they let me in.
They were like, "This is the best Deep Purple cover we've ever heard."
Yeah,
Smoke on the Water, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I probably did. I don't even know what I did. It might have been like rock song, or maybe just I might even just like kind of did like a solo or something, and they could kind of see where my technique level was at.
Yeah.
Either way, they saw potential there, so they let me in, and that was like where it was my first interaction with jazz, and it was literally like just thrown right into it. Like I was in the big band, playing with a whole like giant horn section. The guitar teacher there.
And this is your first this is your first entry into like jazz, right? Like you're getting.
Oh yeah, I knew nothing about jazz at that point. I was just so into like metal and like rock and shit like that.
Were there different channels to like choose from as far as like paths that you could go, or was it all just like they just put you in jazz, or you just like maybe
no, it's not. You didn't have a choice. I mean, you either do jazz or like classical in most of these schools, and there wasn't a classical program at the school. It was jazz focused. And yeah, it was super challenging to me. But I just loved guitar playing, and the guitar teacher there, who's again still one of my closest friends, Colin Sapp. He's now a Berkeley professor, but he was teaching high school back then. Incredible guitar player, really helped to kind of mold me into the guitar player I am today. He was just like a young man himself at that point, and was very ambitious as well. And like, I had never read music before. I didn't know anything about the language of jazz. And I was in a guitar ensemble with like 4 other guitarists, or I think it was 4 of us total. And we were literally like learning like insane jazz solos, like note for note, and like having to like sight read the music. And we had to like perform it at like a jazz, like nationwide competition in like 6 months time. So it was just like no fucking around. Like we're just in it. And I think that kind of sink or swim mentality and just his passion about the music was very infectious, and kind of really showed us like why we should care with certain forms of music that I don't think you're, exposed to in day-to-day life, for whatever reason. They're not as, commercially like the hot thing or whatever. Like sometimes you kind of need someone to like hold your hand a little bit, with, learning deeper concepts, whether they're fucking, jazz or classical music, or, certain techniques in visual art, or in dance. It's like, you might like to fucking dance around if you're a kid, but like there's a difference between that and doing fucking, ballet and like the Nutcracker, right?
Yeah.
There's just different levels of technique and, demand on your body and mind. So anyway, did performances, I got my sort of first taste of that. And then, I started basically attending Berkeley classes, in my senior year of high school. I was already doing like Berkeley classes over like the summer programs, because it was an arts high school in Boston. It was sort of funded by all of the other colleges in the area, at least like loosely so. So like Emerson College, Mass Art, Berkeley College of Music.
Was it one of those places?
Like
is it kind of one of those things where like, you have an IB program in some high schools that have like college credits that also double as like school, like high school credits that double as, credits for your
kind of sort of. I was able to like take like a college course or two like early, like in my senior year, and it was also cool because like there was all this like extra funding through like the city of Boston where like you could get like a stipend to like take classes. It was like this weird thing. It was like almost like they paid you to go to school. It was pretty sick. And then once I graduated from high school, the guitar teacher, they had some position go vacant like at my old high school. So I literally graduated, and then the next year I was teaching at my high school.
Oh wow!
Like in the music department, and then like while attending Berkeley classes, and there's not a lot of funding in like public high schools, but like it was something that like Berkeley as an institution was like sort of like a stipend program was funding. So it's like I was taking classes at Berkeley. Berkeley was paying me to teach at my old high school, and everything was like within walking distance of each other, because like Berkeley's downtown and Boston Arts Academy is like literally like maybe like a 10-minute walk from Berkeley, maybe not even. So I would just be kind of like whipping back and forth. It was like a super fun time in my life, and like I learned a lot and was just kind of creatively entrenched in so much shit, and was also around the time when I was writing music for Revocation, and that was really starting to take off. Um, so yeah, like studying jazz there at Berkeley, and going on that college level with courses definitely inspired me. I got tons of dirty looks because, like, to me, I like didn't draw like a distinction between different like genres. I just like loved music, so I would
Same.
show up to, like, I remember I was studying with I was taking private lessons there, and with a guitar teacher, and great jazz guitar player, Bruce Saunders, and like I showed up like wearing like a death metal shirt. I had like a fucking BC Rich Warlock, all black with like an exporter sticker on it.
Yeah.
And like walked in his door like, oh, I'm ready for my like 1:30 lesson. And he's like, son, you're in the wrong room. Like the metal lab's like 2 doors down. And I'm no,
I'm here for Blue Note.
Right. I'm like, no, I want to study with you. And he's like, it's like still like didn't compute for him. But then like after the lesson, like we kind of got it. Like, okay, this kid wants to like learn for real. So yeah, I studied with like a lot of great players there, like bebop guys and chord melody guys, and I think I learned way more like after I had left Berkeley, because I was still very much like entrenched in like metal world. I was kind of like all in metal, but like dabbling in jazz. Whereas like since I've graduated, I've kind of gone back to, really kind of taking jazz as my main focus over the past few years in terms of just the things that I do when I'm home. Like obviously people know me for Revocation, or maybe, some other different projects that I have, but Revocation is kind of my main thing, which is very death metal, thrash metal centric.
Right.
But when I'm home, like the shit I'm practicing, if I'm not like writing metal stuff, I'm primarily like working on jazz shit, transcribing jazz shit, that whole thing.
Interesting. So do you have like Gargoyle? That's like not that. Is that still a thing, or is it a side project?
Yeah. We just finished our second record. I have like the mix like in my folder that I have to just like listen to the track order with.
Okay, I didn't take any fucking time out of my day to check that out, but I'm assuming that's like a death metal offshoot project.
Gargoyle? No, it's a rock band.
Oh, okay, so is it like what kind of rock band, or what kind of style of rock band? I guess.
Our last record kind of sounded like, I don't know, like Alice in Chains mixed with Virus, and then like our new record kind of sounds like, I don't know. It's so hard to say, but like some of the vibe is like if Voivod and Queens of the Stone Age had a baby or something like that.
Okay, so it's not like butt rock or divorced dad rock kind of vibe.
Yeah, that wouldn't be like my first choice of genre to dedicate a whole lot of time to.
I mean, dude, Nickelback,
like just paying a lot, then maybe, but just start something off the ground. That's
true. Yeah. But I mean, maybe chat with Brian or some of the other guys over there at Metal Blade. I'm sure they need a Nickelback version for Metal Blade, and then you can kind of get like a super group together. You can just pick through the roster of artists or current and alumni from the Metal Blade roster, and then boom.
Just
Sugar Ray Part 2. I could be.
There you go.
That's always a goal of mine, just to be like some seedy pop rock. Yeah, dude.
You gotta start like smoking cigars, and I'll make you a stack, and shit like that.
Yeah, I'll do more like the fake candy cigarettes, because I don't want I hung around at a cigar bar like 20 years ago for a little while, and that was like poor choices. You know what I mean? Waking up after like smoking cigars is just fucking the worst, dude.
Well, I'm just saying, I think you got to pick that habit back up if you want to, rise to the top of the butt rock management heap here.
Hell yeah. There's a lot of money probably going around there. There's probably a lot of money flying around that.
Yeah, you can afford the good cigars at least.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet's or whatever the fuck they're called.
I said know nothing about the cigar. Well, my grandfather like smoked cigars like habitually.
Yeah.
As a kid, I just associate that smell with like my grandfather, but I never got into smoking cigars, cigarettes, nothing like that.
Yeah, no, I never got into cigarettes. Like I did moonlight and cigars when I was like early 20s, because you think it's cool, and then you're at the cigar bar, which is not fucking cool at all, because you all just smell like cigars. It's like there's still some around here, and like I do a 4-mile walk every day, and I go by.
Nice.
Thank you. I'll pat myself on the back.
Yeah, that's good.
But I will walk by a cigar bar every day, and every day I'm like, dude, I'm on the street. The parking lot is between me and the building, and I can still smell the fucking cigars, dude.
It's a pungent. pungent stench.
Yeah. So when's the world going to hear some Dave like jazz compositions or jazz projects or anything like that? Is like that a possibility?
I mean, I just did 2 jazz gigs like a couple days ago. I played in Richmond, Virginia. I did a gig, and then I went up and played in Manhattan.
Interesting.
It was
Are these
myself.
solo gigs, or do you join solo gig obviously in Manhattan, but do you join a band and sometimes?
No, I mean, we put the band together. It was in Manhattan. It was me, Nick Joss from Baroness on bass.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like a great like jazz bass player. Ryan Clackner on second guitar, killer like free improv jazz guitar player from Knoxville, and Kenny Grahowski from Imperial Triumphant on drums, who I just love to play with. Just incredible.
What's the project's name? Well, what's the band's name?
It didn't. I mean, with jazz projects, it's like kind of whoever books the gig. It's like the so-and-so quartet, you know. So Ryan happened to book that gig, so it was the Ryan Clackner quartet.
Cool.
I booked a gig in Richmond, so it was the Dave Davidson quartet. You know, jazz groups, you know, there's been some over the years, like, you know, like Herbie Hancock with like Headhunters and stuff like that, but those were almost like more fusion kind of projects, or like Weather Report was like more of a fusion kind of thing. But in general, it's like whoever's like kind of the band leader, like every single person's name on the record might be equally big, but you know, whoever just kind of wrote the music or spearheaded it is like the so-and-so trio, and then it's got the other guys' names on it.
That you just broke down so many questions that I had about jazz probably in the last like 20 years with that statement there of how like it's booked and whose band it is and whatnot. Because again, yeah, you know, you'll have these groups, quartets, duos, trios, ensembles. And again, like you said, like dude, there's like 3 big fucking guys in this band. Why is it called the Coltrane Experience or whatever the fuck you want to call it? You know what I mean? And that makes makes some sense. That makes sense. Is this something that like like has recorded music or anything like that, or is it just like free formed on?
I mean, the stuff that I just did was all just like free, like literally this past week, Ryan came to my place, and like that was my first time like ever like hanging out with him. I met him like once at a gig like a while ago. This is my first time ever spending any like extended time with him, and it was our first time like ever playing live. We didn't. It's free improv, so you know you're not like writing music really. I mean, we played like a few jazz standards just to kind of
get in the mood,
bring some structure to the set, and we kind of had just jammed before together, like the day before the gig, just to kind of like feel each other out a little bit. But like literally, like the Manhattan gig, like Nick, the bass player, that was my first time ever meeting him. We just like shot the shit for like 10 minutes and then got on stage and played an entire, like we played 2 sets actually. It was like we did like an hour, took like 10-minute break, and then played for another hour. And like the only thing we said we were going to do was like we played like a blues and like a couple other jazz standards, and we didn't even know when they were going to fit into the set. It was just like totally free.
Yeah, jazz is a weird one. I've never not liked it, right? Like we have a jazz festival here in Jacksonville every year. It's decently known. It's not like the New Orleans Jazz Festival or anything like that, but it's decently known. They got some names that come through here every year. But growing up, we had this frame. I don't know why my parents had this frame fucking poster from it from the year I was born. And so like growing up, I just saw the jazz.
Were you conceived there, you think?
Huh? No. No, I was conceived around like Christmas 82 because I was born in September 83. So, you know, around that time frame or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you have a deeper connection there, you know?
No, just seeing it every day of my life. And then I would just check out jazz. But jazz is also something that I recently started to kind of like listen to, not because I want to know more about it. The whole point of me listening to jazz is to not know songs and not know anything about it, because what I'll do is I'll like get into the sauna or like fucking fill my tub up with like the hottest water. And I'll just like kind of like hang out in that. But it's like, you know, 20, 30 minutes or whatever, but it gets boring. So I want to have something playing, but I don't want to know what it is, because then I know like, oh, this song is like 4 minutes long. So I kind of have a gauge of like how long I've been in there for. And I just don't want to be able to know. And I want to be like out of my own head, I guess. And I can't relate, or I don't know what's coming in the song. So like, it's just more clearer headedness, I guess,
That's awesome. I love the image of you in a tub.
Just fucking lights out, just like draw, like whatever fuck freeform shit's going on. And the thing is, like, Spotify, it just goes on shuffle, so I don't know what's coming. Right. I don't even know what is playing, so like,
right.
It could be this, it could be that. I've tried to do like sauna music too, but that's fucking like Inya massage music, and that's kind of not as cool. But yeah. I did, speaking of auditorial things or audio things, I did this yoga class with my girlfriend the other month or whatever, and I don't know, 90 seconds of it was a sound bath, and I've never been, I never did a sound bath or did any of those like little bowls where, you do the whole, like, you rub the thing on the bowl and it makes this frequency noise and whatnot. I need to get back there. I need to do like a full on all in sound bath, because that was like close to out of body in that 90 seconds or whatever. And that was pretty fucking cool.
Oh, yeah, I've never done one of those, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Not that I'm into any of that kind of stuff. That was like something I was like, holy fuck, that feels so fucking cool. It's like DMT, right, but not fucking smoking it or drinking it.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy shit.
Are you a straight edge guy?
No, I've like dialed drinking back like a decent amount. It's more just like you get like older and like sucks to like be hung over the next day, just like I feel like you just lose time and like no shred of dopamine left in your brain, and you're just like, it's almost like you get like the flu or something.
Yeah.
I used to think I knew what a hangover was, like, in like my like early 20s, like, oh, it just means like you eat breakfast and then you're okay. Now it's like, oh, I understand, like it's like all day, like I poisoned myself kind of thing. And I feel like you don't even need to like drink that much to like feel like just kind of shitty the next day, or just not firing on all cylinders. So, like I'll still, I'm in LA for a week. Like I'm looking forward to like seeing my friends, and I'm sure I'm going to like kick back and have some cocktails and like, or a glass of wine here and there. But, like in general, I've been doing more like, oh, I'm going to like, not drink for like a whole month or whatever. Like, take little, it doesn't have to be like dry January. It might just be like, oh, just pick a month and be like, I'm not going to drink at all. And, in general, like, I find that like I feel better, and, I'm a little bit more like clear headed. So I like that feeling. And, I was never really like big into any of the other, I mean, I like smoking weed and stuff like that. I feel like it opens up like a creative thing for me when I'm
the jazz guy dabbles in weed. That is, I've stopped the presses. Right? We're going to fucking run this story.
Right. But it's not like, I've never also considered myself like a huge like stoner or anything like that by any means. So, I don't know. I guess I've always just managed to kind of, not fall into some of like the crazier, habits out there, thankfully. So yeah, I don't know if it's what you want to call it. Like, I don't have like an addictive personality or whatever, but like, yeah, now it's more just kind of like being pragmatic and being like, yeah, I'm just going to like dial it back, because I feel like I'm just going to feel better the next day. What about you? You still like punching holes in walls and fucking shit?
Hell yeah, dude. First off, I was unsuccessful with that, so I had to try to get, no, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I also do a lot of nightlife things too. So, I've DJ'd for like 20 years, whether that be like as an artist, like touring DJing, or just like doing your local bar at night or club at night or whatever. So like, I still do some of that stuff today. And like, huh?
Yeah, I'm listening.
And so like, there was a point like 10 years ago or 8 years ago, I was like, damn, I'm out like every night and I'm drinking and smoking every night, and I'm like 32 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, I should probably like, figure that out. And so I did take a year off one time. Worst idea ever. Can't drink anymore after that. It's like the hangover thing. That's when I started being like, oh, these are fucking hangovers. And like, they're way worse. They were way worse when, even like from whatever, I don't know. But I mean, I can have a couple beers now, and like, I go back and forth on this all the time, where like, could I stop drinking altogether? Yeah, totally. But like, also like, I don't have a big problem with it. I only drink like once or twice a month if I do. And then when I do, I fucking enjoy it. Like I enjoy, I enjoy it. Like I'm not getting shitty, sloppy drunk or anything like that. I mean, granted, I'm not trying to. There might be 1 or 2 times a year that just happens at a concert or something like that where I'm having too much of a good time. But yeah, I mean, that's even kind of like rolled over into like smoking weed or whatever these days. It's like part of me this year has been really tough mentally because I'm like, give it up. No, I don't want to give it up. It's not really that bad. But then it also is bad because like, you know, I'll smoke. If I smoke during the day, I'm not wanting to do anything. You know what I mean? I'm going to want to, the fuck it is in the system and I'm done for the day. So like, I'll try to wait till like nighttime because then I won't want to work out. I won't want to like do these, or if I do these podcasts,
off your routine.
Yeah. But again, my routine was just smoking weed all day for like 20 years. So it's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel you on that. It's like, you know, I've never felt like, you know, fucking out of control or like, you know, gotten wasted and like, you know, you crash a car, like, you know what I mean? It's never been like any moments like that where it's like, oh fuck, I got to get my shit together. It's always just been like having fun, you know, you're on tour and it's like everyone around you is drinking and partying. And it's just like, you can just kind of easily fall into that kind of lifestyle. And it kind of becomes very like normalized. And I don't know, it's like this past like couple of years, like just even going out and having like 3 or 4 drinks, like I would just kind of feel like off my game the next day. Like it's just kind of like run down or just like unnecessarily tired. And I'm like, man, I could like having 3 drinks, like, when I was younger, it's like it wouldn't even make a fucking dent in me.
I'm not even leaving the house until I do 3 drinks. What are you talking about?
You know what I mean? Like it's just, and like so yeah, getting older, your body chemistry changes, and again, I think if you kind of take a break from alcohol, like I was doing, like kind of almost like, you know, just little breaks here and there, it kind of makes coming back to it like harder because your body's like
what the fuck
not used to processing it and shit, and like I'm not even getting necessarily like that much more fucked up. It's just the next day. Like, who wants to feel like they've got like a mild cold? You know what I mean?
And you don't even you're not even getting fucked up you're not even having a good time. You're just like you're just having 3 drinks, and next thing you know, you're like, the fuck? I didn't even get like a buzz last night.
Right. I know. You're like, God damn it. Like, am I getting sick? Like, what the fuck? So yeah, I think that was sort of the hardest thing to get over. And now that I'm getting a little bit older, you know, I'm almost 40 now, but it's like I'm still hanging on to my 30s for dear life. But
hey, it's fun.
It's like you can try to fight against it, right? And you can kind of bemoan, you know, like, oh, like I used to be able to recover faster in my 20s, or I used to, you know, whatever, you know, party and be out, you know, till like super late, and you know, I could just get up the next day. But it's like, but you're not that anymore, and like there's a certain wisdom that comes along with being a little bit older, and like, rather than trying to like fight against your body, like just fucking work out more and like be like a little bit healthier. And then like to me, like I love a good cocktail. Like I like actually have really grown accustomed to like really enjoy like a good glass of wine. So yeah, I could cut it off and just go like cold turkey, but like, you know, I also value my friends, and sometimes like having a nice glass of wine or a cocktail with a friend you haven't seen in a minute, like that's like a fun moment. And like, that also is like good for my mental health and all that. So it's kind of a constant balance. It's all, you know, it's kind of, there's all the fucking yin yang of everything where it's like, okay, this is going to be detrimental if you do too much of it, but you know, if you do just enough, then it could be great. You know, it might be relaxing and have fun. So I think every single person's different. I know friends that are my age or older that can like still go like full send, and they can also wake up the next morning and fucking run 10 miles. And like, and they're not going to,
they never stopped though. They probably never took a break or never did anything like that. They just kept that enzymes just fully going, and it never stopped.
Whatever it is, I can't do that. You know, if I fully send it, they ain't no fucking way I'm getting up and going for like a jog in the sun the next day. That just sounds like terrible. Are you friends with Bert Kreischer or something like that, or what? It sounds like you're describing him. He's probably an LA guy, right? Yeah, he definitely is an LA guy. Yeah, he God, there was one video he did, it went viral where he's like talking about like drinking, and he's just like, I will never quit. Oh, that's a lot of his videos, dude. But you know the thing is, it's like a motivational like speech basically about how he just like never gonna stop. He's gonna love it so hard. But it's like it's like brings a tear to my eye just thinking about how that guy goes hard. I feel his
rants about that though sometimes, and it's really difficult because like again I think we're talking about it as just two regular ass people, not like addicts or not like people that like to get drunk on the regular. Now, I'm the kind of guy that's not going to have like a beer at dinner, and I don't do cocktails. I should probably point that out. I don't do cocktails. I only stick to beer. Haven't done a shot in like a decade because that's how you get to fucking hangover town. But outside of that, like it's this thing where like, yes, it is. It's fun. It's fun to drink. It's fun to smoke weed. It's fun to do all these things when you're solo or with even more so a group of friends. But like I just said, like a couple seconds ago, if I'm drinking a beer, I'm not having a meal. And if I'm drinking a beer, I'm going to keep drinking a beer all night long. So I'm not going to like, if we have 6 beers for the night, I'm not going to drink because we're going to go through that and I'll have 2 beers and then I'll just want more. And I just don't want the more beer, not like a crack addict or whatever, but it's like, what's the point of the 2 beers? That's like 400 calories. I don't know how many carbs or whatever. And you know, the cost analysis isn't worth it.
Yeah. And at a certain point, it's unnecessarily, calories and like all that kind of stuff, especially like, you know, trying to get in shape and you're getting older. And it's just like, okay, I just ate like fucking 3 pieces of bread or whatever the fuck that like I didn't need to. But I mean, being on this podcast, like, and you know, people listening to it, like, I feel like maybe it goes without saying, maybe it doesn't, but of course, like, it's not for everybody, and it can get out of hand really quick. And you know, maybe just like as a cautionary tale, I've seen close friends fucking, you know, convince themselves that they don't have a problem, and they actually do. So it's like, you know, it's important to like check yourself. It's important to, you know, reach out to your friends if you feel like that they've got a problem. And yeah, like drinking works for some people. It doesn't work for other people. And it may work for you for a time, and then the switch may flip and it may no longer work for you. And like, and all of those things are okay. And they're all part of being human. But like, you know, certainly, alcohol. I mean, I used to work at a rehab. I've seen the fucking firsthand the fucking damage that kind of shit can do and different choices that it can lead to. So, you know, you have to have your wits about you with a substance that takes you out of your fucking head. You know, you give fucking Albert Einstein enough fucking booze, he's going to roll down a hill fucking naked and, you know, fucking, you know, jump in a lake or whatever. Right. So, I mean, it's something that's like not to be trifled with. Like, you fucking, you know, don't drink and drive, you know, all that kind of shit.
No, drinking and driving bad drinking.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a, you know, not something to be just because it's ubiquitous and, you know, it's fucking everywhere and it's part of society doesn't mean that it can't, like, you know, really fuck you up. So anyway, that's my, you know, PSA, you know, for the day with that. Like, you know, if people out there that are listening that are struggling with it, I think coming from both of us, this is by no means like oh yeah, you know,
it's fun.
You can turn it on and off because some people like really can't. Just the idea of kind of cutting back drinking, it's like you wind up right where you started if you've got that kind of alcoholic kind of addict, you know, gene, you know, whatever you want to call it, variety of factors. Sometimes it's like the environment you grew up in, it's like triggering. So, you know, be careful out there with this shit or any kind of drug.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't know. A lot of people get in a lot of trouble with that. But again, I could take it or leave it, but I like to take it every now and then. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm trying to get one of our writers is a big jazz guy, and he's writing me a question to ask you. But so I'm gonna let him write that then. But I have one other question, and then this question, and I'll cut you loose out of here. If you were to show just a layman's person, if you were to show them one Revocation song that best sums up the band, not just now, not just then, but in general, what would that song be for someone who you were trying to win over as a fan to be a fan of your band?
I would say, I mean, you know, honestly, probably track 1 off our new record. It hasn't been released yet, but I mean, you know, this is a hypothetical. So I think track 1 off the new record kind of fully encapsulates the Revocation sound, at least, you know, as it stands, you know, today in 2025.
Side note, and then I'm gonna read you his question because he just came through. When did Revocation become Revocation? Like, I know that it was always the band and like you guys were writing music and stuff like that and releasing stuff, but like, when did it feel to you like we're here? This is our sound. This is what we are. This is fully encompassed. This is what we are.
That's impossible to answer because it's like, to me, like on our first demo, I was like, oh yeah, this is my new band, Revocation. It's like, once you kind of like commit to the idea of it, like, yes, we've put out so many records over time, and like each album has, I think, done something different for us. I've been able to sort of say different things with it in terms of a project musically, but it's like when you're living it like kind of day to day, it's hard to tell like when that like switch fully flips. And then sometimes like just weird things happen where it's like things that you didn't even necessarily know, like, a certain single would pop off or whatever. And it's like, part of it's like not even up to me. It's almost like a fan base kind of thing. Like I can kind of pinpoint, like, I think different records like in our career that like, I mean, when we first signed to Relapse and put out Existence is Futile, that was our first time on a major metal label, and people who had never heard us before, that was the big moment. When we first signed to Metal Blade and put out Deathless, that's like we're on a new record label, and like that kind of felt like it was a sort of breath of we had the kind of wind at our backs, so to speak, with that one. It seems like this new record coming out right now, there's lots of hype around it, and I'm excited for that. But I would say, like, I mean, pretty much like on our first demo, I feel like I knew I was kind of onto something cool, but I could have at the same time never known that it would be going on for, I mean, fucking next year's going to be our 20-year anniversary.
That's what happens, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude.
All right. Colin.
I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm older than you, but not by much. Not by much. My parents were just getting it on right before yours.
That jazz festival, dude.
Yeah, making it everybody slipping and sliding around that bitch. So he wants me to ask what your favorite. This is Colin. He's one of our writers. He does all the cool in-depth pieces. The 25 and 25. He's done a lot of that this year. Bands turning 25. Most recently, I guess, Boy Sets Fire. That was a recent one. Anyway, he wants me to ask you what your favorite era of Miles Davis is.
Oh. I mean, yeah, probably is like just straight up like bop shit.
I don't know what that is. No. Like
bebop. Like he went through like several different like eras, like he was exploring kind of different like sounds. Like he had like the whole kind of like electronic era and stuff. But like like Miles Smiles, fucking Nefertiti. Like there's some like just kind of classic, like quintessential, like milestones. It's interesting because a lot of those players, like they had like multiple different eras that they really kind of like were at the forefront of. Like Miles was a purveyor of like kind of like the modal jazz, like cool jazz movement, but he was also like a bebop guy, and then he like kind of started getting into like more like fusion and like electronic elements. But to me, like his like just bop shit, like when he's just like cooking, like stuff like on Bags Groove and shit, like just burning.
He also
his autobiography is fantastic, by the way. If you've never read it, it's great.
I will have to check that out. I read books every now and then these days.
Yeah. Very fascinating, man.
He also wanted me to tell you, he said when he answers, tell him he's wrong, and that the correct answer is actually the transitionary period that consists of the albums Miles in the Sky and Fillets de Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
So, for what it's worth.
Cool. Does he play or?
Colin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does actually play. He also is just like a really big nerdy jazz guy, and that's him being funny.
Cool. Sick.
Anyway, you've made it this far throughout the podcast, talking not really about Revocation or any of the music that they do. However, you've made it this far, so we'll give you a little bit.
Go check out the new record.
We'll give you a little bit. September 26th through Metal Blade Records, New Gods, New Masters will be out. Revocation will also be back on the road supporting that record with Judiciary, Infirmary, and Vomit Forth. And then I think early next year, you guys are going to be hitting the road supporting, Silosis. And that'll be a European and UK tour early next year. Dave, before you get out of here, and I kept you a little longer than I wanted to, apologies, but is there anything you want to kind of shout out, tell the fans, or do whatever?
Yeah, new record, check it out. See us on tour. Some people aren't interested in some of my side projects, so I got the Gargoyle record. It's in the can. We're just kind of finalizing some things with the mix now, but expect that, I don't know, at some point, next year probably at this point. I'm working on Pallid Veil material, but that's my side project with Luke from Gorguts, so he's working on the new Gorguts record. So we are got some irons in the fire there, but we're just kind of waiting for Luke to get the Gorguts stuff finished up. And I think that's about it for me now. I teach guitar lessons while I'm home. If anyone ever wants to take a guitar lesson, they can email me through my website, davedavidsonguitar.com. That's about all the shameless plugs I have there. Lurk, it was honestly such a pleasure to talk to you. I had such a blast. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
I was just about to thank you for being on the podcast, and this has been one of the better podcasts in the last couple weeks, months, or whatever. I do these weekly or sometimes fucking back to back, and sometimes they can be a grind, and I do very little research beforehand. And I don't know everything about every band ever made. So, sometimes I just go into these things fucking rigmarole. And that's why we talk about things outside of the band and music. So
I think we learned a lot about each other today. One of them is that you like to just sit in a steaming hot bath in complete silence and listen to jazz. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Well, at least I know you'll be thinking about me that way. I have other bigger rock stars right now that are thinking about me in other ways. And they've just been very vocal about it last couple of weeks, which has been very fun. But I feel better knowing you're thinking about me in the bath.
It's going to stay with me for quite a long time, Lurk. Thank you.
Well, either way, maybe we can do that together in person. You'll be in Florida in November, so, it's only down the road.
Get that water hot.
It's only down the road.
I want that Miles Davis record cranking.
We do actually the new metal night there at the same venue, so I'm pretty well familiar with that venue. Dave,
I hope to see you there.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. We'll definitely be around, dude. I'll let you know. And again, all the links for everything Revocation and Dave's guitar noodling school will be in the description, links in bio, that kind of thing. Dave, thank you again.
Thanks, Lurk. Take care, guys.